YouTube, this is Terraforce88. Got my old Macintosh LC II up and running again. The power supply actually died on it a few years ago. One of the capacitors had actually burned through the board. I replaced all the capacitors in it except for two on the bottom end of it. But anyway, so I'm sort of back to where we were before with the jail bars. So let me actually do something here. Let me open up general controls. I actually have a floppy disk in here, and these control panels I'm running off the floppy, and you'll see why I'm doing this here in a minute. So, because I'm thinking there's still a power supply issue with this. Because, like if I have this thing set to 16 colors, why is this thing not focusing? My phone is a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Focus already. Thank you. Alright, so pay attention to this color palette right here. Now watch what happens when I open up a different control panel. See how the flickering changed momentarily? It didn't do it as much. Let's do this one. I don't think I've opened this one yet. Let me go to 256 because it was even more noticeable on that one. Okay, so see how this section of the palette has jail bars and this section of the palette has jail bars? Now watch. Now this control panel is not going to work, but it should work for the demonstration. Pay attention here. See how the jail bars changed and see how the background changed to have faint yellow jail bars? And the jail bars are still there. Okay. Let's try file sharing monitor. No. Startup disk. See, it was doing it more a minute ago. It seems like it kind of changes the longer it's been on, but as you can see now, the whole thing's kind of flickering on and off. Or, here's one for you. Let's see. If I do this, oh, this is the desktop that has the red dots on it. I didn't want that, but that's beside the point. So, Macintosh HD folders look okay right now. Background has yellow jail bars. Watch what happens when I open up the system folder. Okay, now it's not doing it. I don't understand. See, it changes the longer it's been on. And the reason why I still think this is a power supply is because when the floppy drive does its thing, like when the heads move, the flickering changes. I've had this thing on for about 4 or 5 hours total over the last couple of days since I fixed the power supply. At one point, I opened up a folder and I did hear the hard drive slow down for a second and then spin back up. And the machine kind of froze during that second. Another thing is there was one time I turned it on and it wouldn't post. The gray screen came up, but it didn't do the bong thing. Turn it off, turn it back on, and it worked now. Also, the last couple times I've turned it, it makes the bong sound a lot sooner than it should. Not that it really matters, but I don't know if the power supply is still going on or I did measure the voltages on it with the power supply disconnected from the motherboard. And when the power supply had died originally, it made this really faint click, 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 click sound. And the computer, the speaker would just do a click, click, click very faintly. If you run the power supply with it unplugged from the motherboard, it does the same thing. The +5 wire's fine, the +12 wire's fine. The -12 kind of fluctuates between -3, or I'm sorry, the -5 volts is fluctuating between -3 and -3.8 volts. But when it's plugged into the Mac, I mean, it seems to power the Mac just fine. Now, I haven't measured the voltages with it running inside this Mac, so I'm not sure. My next step's probably going to be to recap the motherboard, because there is some electrolyte showing around a lot of caps around the 68030 processor. I also noticed the microphone does not work, and it's not the microphone, because I tested this on my PC and it worked. The mic jack isn't working. The speaker seems a little quieter than it should be, but it does work. So my next step is to recap the motherboard, but if you guys have any other suggestions, let me know. I'm going to show you the sound here. So that's at 3. And really, if I remember right, this right now at 7 is about what 3 should be. So it's quieter than it should be. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put away this floppy disk. Oh, because it contains items that are in use. Well, what could that be, I wonder? So, what's it doing? Ah, that's what it is. Now we can put it away. Here we go. So, that's where I'm at. TerraForce88 signing out.